alluded to some of the challenges that we experienced during the last mile. And I will give you one such example in St. James, where traversing from Springmount Estate to Springfield, which is usually a 5 minute travel time, is now hour and match because of a breakaway, and you have to travel back to Hermitage through Hampton to get to Springfield.
However, despite all the challenges that we face, we stay committed to ensuring that all the customers are restored.
I want to take the time to thank our valued customers for your patience and understanding that has not been lost on us. Your resilience, your patience, and your partnerships while sharing with us what you're feeling has helped to inform us in regards to how to restore and rebuild the infrastructure of this electricity grid to provide safe, reliable power.
You know what transmission lines are, right? We've been talking about them since the start of the restoration. But if you don't know, let me remind you. Our transmission lines are the high voltage wires that take the bulk of the power from power plants to substations, where it's brought down to a voltage where it can provide power to your homes. Due to the passing of Hurricane Melissa, our transmission network was severely impacted. So today we're in Magati in St. Elizabeth, and we're going to show you just what it takes to rebuild the backbone of our grid.
All right, so the work that we're doing here is vital. We have to be precise, detailed, because we have 300 and odd poles on this transmission line going from Spur Tree in Manchester all the way to Magati in St. Elizabeth. And if there's a single issue on one of these poles, the power will not get from Manchester to St. Elizabeth.
The structures pass through various types of terrain. It passes through the hillside from Spur Tree down, then along the main road, and then into the swampy area through Santa Cruz, and then again over some hilly terrain towards Magati, and then through the cane fields in near Magati substation.
And work on this line is going to be very important to get power into Magati, which will then be stepped down to distribution level, which allow customers that get feed from that substation, customers in Black River, Holland Bamboo, Luana, New Market, those main geographical areas to get power.
Along the entire stretch, we have structures that are down and that needs to be repaired. Some of these structures in some rough terrain that had difficulty accessing. For example, we have a structure down on Spur Tree Hill that is really difficult to replace. We also have structures down within the swampy area in the Santa Cruz region that we had to get excavators, trucking marl to establish access and to have those structures replaced and also straightened.
So while you see our crews working in your community, working on distribution lines, what you may not see is hundreds of linemen working in the hills, in the mountains, trying to rebuild our transmission networks that are critical to bring power to you, Jamaica. As we power through this last mile, just know that we're here for you and we're rebuilding together.
Basically, we are here to rebuild this parish. My name is Marlon Livingston Allen. I'm a Justice of the Peace. I'm Operations Coordinator for the parish of Portland. I am actually here in Westmoreland to assist with the restoration
not unusual to see a significant number of customers restored early in the restoration process, and then the last mile and that last 10% takes quite a bit of time and effort. And when you combine a small number of customers with a really large amount of work, we're doing more work here to get a customer on than at any period of the restoration effort.
For Westmoreland, I understand that most of the parish is layered with rocks below ground. So as such, that is one of our biggest challenges now. We have varying different type of rocks below surface. So we have earth, we have soft rocks, which is limestone, and we have the tough rocks, like those that they use for river banking to retain the river. So those we have to get like the excavators with the hydraulic hammer, jackhammer, to punch through those rocks, and that can take us up to anywhere 2 hours to 3 hours to get through. So those are some of the challenges.
But we're pushing, we're still working 16-hour days. We're getting the support from JPS. We're going to bang this thing out. We're going to get the lights on in a timely manner, and Jamaica will rise again, guys.
Everybody, the last mile is the hardest, but rest assured, we are here dedicated to the task to ensure that as soon as possible, we restore power to you.
We are appreciative of the fact that they came to show their support while they continue to work.
Some slippers, and they were so appreciative. Just spending these couple of days with these customers in these rural areas just remind us how fortunate we are, because these customers, most of them, have lost roofs. They have sustained severe damage to their homes, but yet they still have hope, because we are here to explain to them the complexity of the job that is required to get back power to them.
I must say personally, I think that this initiative brought on by JPS is a wonderful. One, as they are showing their support for the community of Grangeville. As you know, of the surrounding communities are still without electricity. As such, we are grateful for the support and kudos to JPS for continued support. Thank you.
So one thing I can assure you is that we will not stop until every single customer in Jamaica gets back power. It is a lot of work, but our outreach team is here, and we will continue to visit other communities to bring you hope, joy, and good cheer.
So last mile, what does the last mile mean? So if you think about like a marathon, you go through the start of the race, the adrenaline is flowing, you got your energy up and you're going strong. Then as you go through it, the road gets rougher, some kind of hilly terrains, but now you gotta be on that grit, that last push to just get through. So that's where we are in this restoration process.
Currently, we are on the ground with our local teams and our international partners, getting the work done. You see us in our communities. We are in the area of Latry, Sunderland, Maroon Town, Flagstaff, Lamstead, Catadopa, Cambridge, Richmond Hill, and the surrounding areas.
Part of the road that we're going upon is not even roads anymore. One day you go up, there's a road, the next time you come back, there's nothing there.
So Lance alluded to some of the challenges that we experienced during the last mile. And I will give you one such example in St. James, where traversing from Springmount Estate to Springfield, which is usually a 5-minute travel time, is now hour and mash because of a breakaway, and you have to travel back to Hermitage through Hampton to get to Springfield.
We, however, despite all the challenges that we face, we stay committed to ensuring that all the customers are restored.
I want to take the time to thank our valued customers for your patience and understanding that has not been lost on us. Your resilience, your patience, and your partnerships while sharing with us what you're feeling has helped to inform us in regards to how we restore and rebuild the infrastructure of this electricity grid to provide you safe, reliable power.
You know what transmission lines are, right? We've been talking about them since the start of the restoration. But if you don't know, let me remind you. Our transmission lines are the high voltage wires that take the bulk of the power from power plants to substations, where it's brought down to a voltage where it can provide power to your homes. Due to the passing of Hurricane Melissa, our transmission network was severely impacted. So today we're in Magotty in St. Elizabeth, and we're going to show you just what it takes to rebuild the backbone of our grid.
All right, so the work that we're doing here is vital. We have to be precise, detailed, because we have 300 and odd poles on this transmission line going from Spurtree in Manchester all the way to Magotty in St. Elizabeth. And if there's a single issue on one of these poles, the power will not get from Manchester.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. That's more like it. All right, we're going to invite those of you who are standing to please come in and have a seat. There's some seats right here. Come right in. And claim your space. Okay, and as you identify your seats, I'm now going to ask you to stand, please, for the national anthem.
Father, bless the lands.
behalf of JPS, are you hearing me? Right. Okay. On behalf of JPS, I'd like to just welcome you. On behalf of JPS, I'd like to just welcome you all to this. On behalf of JPS, I'd like to just welcome you all to this. Celebration this afternoon.
I would like to commend the people. I would like to commend the people of Darliston for their resilience, for despite the challenges with power and God knows what else, they continue to show up and to do their best. Yes, give yourself a round of applause. You can play two dominoes and stuff like that. They can play two dominoes. And stuff like that, because that is part of what we do here in Westmoreland and Jamaica. And I know it has been disrupted since the passage of Hurricane Melissa, but despite all that, you continue to push on. You keep on keeping on. I want to encourage the business community though, that for those who businesses were destroyed and have not yet resumed operations, to see how best we can transition from the mode of destruction and devastation into the mode of operations. Because for most of us in businesses, we employ people. And every single person that we employ represents a family. And if we have 10 employees, that's 10 families right there. When the business is shut down, if you're not a large, medium to large entity, then it will be quite difficult for you to keep paying your staff when no work is going on, no business is happening. And so we encourage each and everyone here today to try your best, see what you can do. Pay attention to what's being offered by the government, because there are grants available. There are many different avenues through which you can get assistance and loans. I was reading today that I think it's like 2.4 billion US dollars will be available for loans to help the business community to recover. Speak to your MPs, speak to your councillors, and see what's happening, and see how best you can position yourself to benefit from some of these things, because it is important that we don't just recover, but we rebuild as a community, as a parish, and as a nation. Now, JPS, today I must commend you for this mobile power generating unit that you're installing here in Darliston. And yes, indeed. Because we would have seen many light poles that are now down, wires, cables all over the place, so it would have taken a much longer time to wait on all of that. But I must ask each and every one of us here today in this part of Westmoreland, Darliston region, that as we embrace this emergency mobile unit, that we take care of it. We have seen in many instances where people take it upon themselves to get a bit creative and make their own connection. That I'm discouraging you, please don't do that. Not only you put yourself at risk and can be electrocuted, but you also can damage the system and then everybody can lose power. So please don't do that. The Chamber has also learned, has come to attention, and this we have reported, that there are persons out there who are contracted that are charging people to reconnect their power. I would say to everyone here today, as far as I know, and I was assured, given that assurance by the President himself and his team, that JPS is not charging anybody to reconnect them. So these people are breaking the law, and you must report it, because already you are struggling. Already a lot of the people in the community, you can barely afford to pay the bills, but yet people are coming to exploit and extort you, getting money for connection. So report it. I know JPS, I hope it will be shared today. There's a number. That you can send a message to report, and please don't pay anybody. You're not supposed to. I know you want the power back, but do not encourage anybody to break the law. So thank you all for being here. On behalf of the Chamber, once again, I commend you for your resilience and your strength. and your patience, not only for JPS, but for all the other agencies that provide service for us, like telephone and all, internet and all of those things. Hang in there. Better days are coming. We're here. We survived the hurricane, so we can survive everything. Let's continue to be resilient and work with all the agencies so we all of us can enjoy the better that is coming. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chaibar. Right now, I'd like to extend a special welcome to the Mayor, Mr. Councillor Danry Delancey, and I'll invite you now to say a few words as you welcome us to your area.
Thank you. Oh, not this one. Thank you very much, Ministers Vaz and Samuda, Mr. Sweeney from JSIF, Mr. Grant, JPS CEO, Mr. Chaibar from the Westmoreland Chamber, PDC Chairman, Mr. Colin Hitchman, team members from Jamaica Public Service, community members, I see some Justice of the Peace, ladies and gentlemen, I see some pastors as well. One and all, good afternoon. Good afternoon. Yeah, man, sound happy and bright and energized because indeed this afternoon Darliston is energized. And I want to congratulate the JPS on this initiative. It indeed augurs well for a small rural town like Darliston here up in the hills of eastern Westmoreland. I had said some time ago that Melissa has rendered at least 65% of our small business people, Councillor Bacchus, what you do, sir? Of our small business people basically helpless, out of business. And one of the main reasons for small businesses going out of business in places like Darliston and the other parts of eastern Westmoreland is that there is no electricity. A number of our people up here, especially ladies, are into poultry farming, broiler production, in chicken meat. And there's no sense in producing your layers, your broilers, and after the end of 6 weeks you slaughter and you have no storage facility. All our broiler farmers depend upon JPS to provide that power for them to run their refrigerators and their freezers. So I'm indeed happy to be sharing in this event wherein Darliston Town Centre has been energized and the wider Darliston community will be coming on stream shortly. And in the same breath, I feel good because this morning when I left home, I realized that the Jamaica Public Service Company Limited had actually deposited some equipment to set up a similar station in my hometown of Betheltown. Yes. So I know soon and very soon, the residents of Betheltown will be getting some electricity as well. As we go over Western Jamaica, and in particular Westmoreland, we see the great devastation that has been brought upon the JPS power grid. And you know, I was saying to one of my friends recently that I don't grudge Mr. Grant and his team at this time, because the task at hand for them to rebuild the grid and restore electricity to all their customers is indeed a huge one. But we can see that you have been up to the task, and you have been getting some knockings in recent times, but I'm not a part of those knockings here, sir, because I'm sympathetic towards what has been happening. But seriously, I think you and your team have been trying, and you have been reaping some success, and I know that you will not stop until every single customer is reconnected. So once again, I'm happy for this initiative, and I look forward to Betheltown coming on stream in a short while. And I hope that the people of Darliston are prepared their homes and businesses and buildings to receive the energy as you are now able to indeed supply a huge share. God bless.
Thank you so much, Mayor Delancey. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to welcome Mr. Colin Hitchman, who just joined us. He is the chair of the Parish Development Committee and the vice president of Darliston Development Committee. So please give him a hand. Now, if you've been in Jamaica for the past 3 months, you would know that the restoration of electricity has been on everybody's lips. It's been a long, grueling journey to here. And you've been seeing the man who's been driving that program of restoration, a restoration process that has taken us beyond anything that we've ever done in JPS in Jamaica. I now ask you to welcome to the lectern Mr. Hugh Grant, President and CEO of JPS.
Thank you, Winsome. Greetings, everyone. I tell you, it's a joy to be here in Darliston on this Sunday afternoon, given that only a few weeks ago I was here with many people, including Minister Vaz, and doing some walkthroughs here in the community and seeing the devastation. So, Your Worship, the Mayor, thanks for your kind remarks and I appreciate you being here. Honorable Matthew Samuda, thank you also for taking the time to be here. Honorable Daryl Vaz, thank you also for being here. Dr. Dayton Campbell, I'm not sure if he's here yet, but he's expected to be here. Mr. Moses Schreiber, thanks for your kind and opening remarks. Mr. Omar Sweeney, a key partner with JSIF and a leader in that space. Members of the media, JPS leaders and team members, other distinguished ladies and gentlemen, a pleasant good afternoon. To still remember Hurricane Gilbert, devastating Jamaica while I was in high school. Normal life almost stopped. At that time, we're thinking this is the most destructive thing we would ever live to see. And that this great nation would ever face. However, 37 years later, Hurricane Melissa reminded us that the challenges we face today are different in scale, different in complexity, and that even the best planning and technology can be stretched beyond expectation, not to mention how our people are also stretched. When our teams enter Milan to carry out damages of the poles after poles after poles were down, damage assessors after damage assessors were wondering, where are the distribution lines? Where are the poles? I was even giving the minister and others a tour, and they were asking, where are the lines? The transmission system was also devastated, destroyed. Access was difficult in some areas. Eastern Westmoreland was in the direct path of Category 5 Hurricane Melissa. So from the outset, it was clear that restoring electricity here would be a significant effort. It was clear that the network serving Eastern Westmoreland would require a redesign, would require a rebuild, would require relocating in some areas just to build back the power infrastructure here. And also that the reality is full restoration would have taken some time. At the same time, we here at JPS are also mindful that communities could not simply wait while the rebuilding took place. So what did we do? Our teams immediately got to work, and that reality shaped the decisions that followed. Working closely with our government partners, local authorities, educators, and community leaders, we made a deliberate choice to provide temporary solutions safely while the rebuilding progressed. And I must say, these temporary solutions are solutions that for the first time are being rolled out here in Jamaica. That temporary solution is in the form and shape of an emergency mobile power generating unit that we are officially commissioning today. The emergency mobile power generating solution is being placed in specifically identified areas based on some specific criteria, which include that area normal source of power, critical and essential facilities would now receive power. The solution would be serving a relatively dense population with a high level of readiness to receive power, and infrastructure within the area has less severe damage than the infrastructure to bring power to the community from the normal source, which would take a much longer time. Darliston had a decision. The emergency power solution was essential to kickstart economic and social activity, in Darliston and some surrounding areas after the devastating hurricane. You heard Mayor Delance speak to the dynamic around poultry farmers, poultry, and the need for refrigeration. We have been very deliberate in the restoration of power here, as it enables the return of essential public services, including the healthcare center just up the road on my left, the police station right across the road, the tax office round the corner on my right, Maud MacLeod High School to my left, Darliston Town Square, and some surrounding communities. This continuity matters. Our priority is to restore essential services, commercial centers that enable the community, and then gradually add residential communities as we build out. That's what we're doing here in Darliston. I'm here in person today to assure you that this work is not being directed from a distance or managed from JPS headquarters in Kingston. JPS is present on the ground, listening, assessing, and making decisions informed by what people are experiencing real time in places like Darliston. Being here allows us to get the feedback as we have been getting, as we have been meeting with councillors, we have been meeting with community leaders, we have been meeting with business leaders. We had a good meeting with the mayor also. So all good input to help inform us. We understand what still needs to be done, and we reinforce a simple commitment. We will continue this work community by community until restoration is complete across Jamaica. A big part of this is that we continue to deepen and broaden our partnerships. Just a few days ago, on Thursday, the JPS Community Renewal Team was right here in Darliston at the Bethel United Church with our partners in JSIF, Jamaica Social Investment Fund, signing up persons for house wiring assistance, providing customer service support and guidance to persons who want to sign new contracts for service. We are doing this in other communities. In fact, we recently had a similar activity in Catherine Hall, St. James, where we signed up customers who will soon be getting their supply connected because of the partnerships with JSIF. And I'm sure you'll be hearing more about this directly from Mr. Sweeney as he speaks later. And I also know that the Minister, Vaz, was also there in Catherine Hall seeing the efforts firsthand. The reality, ladies and gentlemen, is that this is not just about JPS. Our presence here today is about heightened partnership and alignment with key stakeholders, including ministries of government, government agencies, businesses, community leaders, and residents. It is through these critical partnerships that today I can announce that 94% of our customers now have supply. Now, what does that mean? Listen me carefully about what that means. That means that less than 38,000 of our near 700,000 customers remain without supply. It also means that we have restored more than 500,000 of the 540,000 customers that were without supply after the hurricane. Eastern and central parishes have now been normalized with more than 99% of customers with supply. And as we are in the West, whereby you have the 5 worst hit parishes, listen to this. More than 95% of customers in Trelawney and Hanover now have supply. More than 90% of customers in St. James now have supply. And here in Westmoreland, more than 6 60% of customers now have supply, and more than 60% of customers in St. Elizabeth also now have supply. While we have made great progress, let me reassure you, we will not become complacent. We will keep moving forward despite the challenges, as this difficult last mile phase of restoration is a phase in which we're doing a lot more work for a lot less customers to be restored. Your JPS team continue to work day and night, 24/7. And today, I commit to you that by the end of January, within another few days, we will get to 96% of our customers having supply. This means that 4% of our customers will be without power 3 months after a direct hit from an unprecedented Category 5 hurricane. That's just about 28,000 of our almost 700,000 customers who will still be without electricity, a little over 90 days after the devastating impact of Category 5 Hurricane Melissa on October 28th. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a significant achievement by any measure and is definitely worth celebrating. Now let's think about how do we compare with our peers and other utilities as we benchmark globally. It is clear that our restoration performance is twice as good as our peers in the region and close to on par with utilities in most advanced countries. Even looking back at our own history, we see that significant strides were made with our restoration performance after Hurricane Melissa. Let us be reminded that 37 years ago, a Category 3 hurricane named Gilbert took JPS approximately 8 months to get to this stage that we are here today, just 3 months after a Category 5 hurricane. And let me bring you now a little closer. Let's just think last year with Hurricane Beryl, a Category 4 hurricane that impacted the southwestern side of the island. It took us approximately 2. And now Hurricane Melissa, which is an unprecedented Category 5, hit us directly with almost 10 times the impact of Hurricane Beryl. And 3 months later, we can celebrate the fact that 94% of our customers have supply. Definitely an outstanding achievement. Now let me be clear. This could not be possible without the critical partnerships with our customers, our stakeholders, and the government which is represented here today. Thank you for your support in making this possible. Now let me talk a little bit about this last 4% and what does it mean and what it looks like. The fact is, ladies and gentlemen, we still have significant work ahead of us. as we journey on this difficult last mile. We now turn our attention to getting power to the last 4% of our valued customers, which includes about 3% of customers who are not yet ready to receive power. Our research shows that approximately 20,000 of the customers awaiting restoration are not yet able to receive service. They cannot be connected because of damage to their property by the hurricane, and in several, while in other cases the damage is so great, premises have to be rewired and recertified. That is why JSIF was in Darliston a few days ago to provide support for persons who need assistance with rewiring their homes. My customers, residents of Darliston, work with JSIF closely and take them up on their offer. It is a good thing that would help you to get power when your homes are not ready to receive power. In addition to persons who are not yet able to receive electricity because of damage to their property, about 1% of customers are in some of the most severely damaged, hard-to-reach areas. That's the remaining 1% of the 4%, where sections of the grid require even greater effort to rebuild. These customers are likely to remain without service for a while longer as we continue to partner, prioritize, and execute on a strategy to rebuild in those areas. More innovation is coming, ladies and gentlemen. While we continue to grapple with the challenge of rebuilding the power infrastructure to get to these most difficult areas of the last mile, the team here at JPS continues to explore innovative ways of getting power to those still without. And we have come up with another emergency power generating solution for Eastern Westmoreland. You heard Mayor Delancey speak about it earlier because in city activities in Betheltown, whereby I'm committing to you that by the end of the first week in January, we will be deploying that emergency in February. We'll be deploying that emergency mobile power generating unit in Betheltown and will provide power to approximately 600 customers. First week in February. Mayor, I know that's music to your ears. As in all fairness, this is an initiative as a result of our heightened stakeholder engagement. We got input from the mayor, we got input from the councillors, and also Minister Valls also has pushed us on this particular initiative. We will begin energization of that town, energize it, essential services and commercial centers that fuel the surrounding communities. From there, we will build out to restore power to the adjoining communities. Your JPS team stands by our commitment, ladies and gentlemen, throughout this entire Hurricane Melissa restoration. We have not missed one commitment date here at JPS. Change that. So although the journey of this last mile is challenging, we will not stop until we get supply to every single customer. So as I close, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you, our customers, for your understanding and partnership throughout this rebuilding process. A very special thanks to our Caribbean utility partners who supported us through the Caribbean Electric Utility Services Corporation. We were able to benefit from the assistance of line workers from 18 utility companies across the region. We are very grateful for the partnership with the government that allowed us to procure 300 additional line workers and specialized equipment from North America. To work 24/7 because they know how important it is to get the power back on as safely and as quickly as partnership gives us confidence. To Marcus Garvey reminding us, with confidence you have won before you have started. That confidence comes from preparation, partnership, and the willingness to act, and the resilience of our customers, the people of this great nation. It is that confidence that will turn and Jamaica forward. Thank you, be safe and be well.
Thank you so very much. Hugh, please give him another of applause. And I'm sure you're all familiar with the term, with the Jamaicans saying one hand can't.
But it's not good enough until we get to the end of the last mile. It's why we are going to stick at it every day. And every night until every single Jamaican was adversely affected restored with JPS, with NWC, Mr. Williams, with their roof. Minister Charles, who is watching online, I saw you on my live. And indeed, ensuring that we put this behind us. It was an incredibly traumatic incident. And we don't want to, in doing very well in our pace of restoration, diminish what any of our citizens are going through. You see, as politicians, we're torn between the fact that you're moving faster than states that faced Hurricane Maria, like Puerto Rico, where there are still customers without light several years later. You're dealing with the fact that you have restored more customers than impacted in the Bahamas 2 years ago by their category 5. I think it was Irma, who still have not reached 100%. In fact, they're about 92%. So as politicians, as professionals, you are tempted to say, but I have done better. But we are not yet done. So I would ask my colleagues and friends and partners in the JPS, don't take that vacation just yet. Your biggest customer needs a little more help. The Chamber of Commerce of Westmoreland needs a little more help. The citizens of Jamaica need a little more help. But don't underestimate that we are thankful for the work that you have done. But the last mile may prove to be the most important. NWC is very clear that our relationship is not one that is going to be separated. It's one that is going to be enhanced. It's one where myself and President Grant and indeed Minister Vaz, I can't imagine him as a referee, may have to play referee because we have some matters to deal with. But this has laid bare the lack of resilience in a country that was a developing country pre-Melissa. Let us redouble our efforts, refocus our vision to ensure that after restoration funds are spent, several sections of this country, whether they are in West 2030. God bless Minister Vaz. I have not been too long. Indeed. Blessings.
Thank you, Minister Samuda. We now have our main speaker, the Honorable Darrell Vaz, who is the Minister of Energy, Telecommunications and Transport, and everybody knows how he feels about getting power to the people. He's holding JPS accountable, he's holding everyone accountable, so please welcome him for his passion in getting persons reconnected.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and all the residents of Darliston, each and every one of you. I am particularly pleased to be here this evening on a Sunday evening, a cool, salubrious Sunday evening in Darliston. But it is not lost on me the level of devastation and destruction that still surrounds Darliston and surrounding communities. I was here 2 Thursdays ago with Mr. Hugh Grant, coming all the way from St. James through to Chester Castle and over to Darliston. And he told me that it would not be possible to get light from the main thoroughfare coming from White House, passing through to Ferris and coming up because of the level of damage that was done. And that even with the line workers that are here, it would have taken months. But don't worry, Minister, I have a solution. And he brought me to this very place. The only difference today is that I see everything set up here When we came, it was going to be over there, but obviously they made the changes. And I'm so happy that once again, JPS has given a commitment and lived up to the commitment. He told me that it would have been ready and installed last week, and it was done. Congratulations to Hugh Grant and his entire team. What is even more important to me is that every commitment that JPS has given me as minister, they have delivered on. They have missed not one. As a matter of fact, if I'm to be honest, they have come ahead of time in many of them. And then they called me and said, Minister, I have something good to tell you, you know. I told you it was going to happen Friday, but guess what? It happened Wednesday night, you know. So when you see this generation plant commissioned, and we're going to do the formalities today, it has already been done. And the truth be told, we want to really say to all the hard-working members of the Jamaica Public Service and the linesmen and everybody else, how appreciative we are. In parallel, we are making sure that we have a whole of government approach, because we have JSIF working in tandem with the JPS in relation to the recertification and repairs of the houses. Normally, the regular program that is done outside of an emergency like this is about $150,000 per household. In this case, because of the damage and the water damage to the circuits and all of that, it can be much higher. But the government remains committed to make sure and deliver to the people proper reconnection of electricity. So we have, out of $1.1 billion, we have diverted a significant amount of that money to the western parishes. And I'm pleased to announce this evening that the National Energy Poverty Reduction Project in Westmoreland, 165 million Jamaican dollars has been allocated to mobilize to support house wiring, remedial works, government electrical regulator certification between December 2025 and March 26, specifically realigned to address Hurricane Melissa. What does that mean? That means that other parishes that are not as badly affected, like Portland, like St. Thomas, like St. Mary, like St. Catherine, like Kingston and St. Andrew, we have put those projects on hold and diverted the money to the 5 western parishes. And I said that because I wanted the Member of Parliament who just came to hear that good news for Westmoreland, including Eastern Westmoreland, because he says that not much going on. So let me say welcome to Member of Parliament for Eastern Westmoreland, and to say to him that Westmoreland was at 18% restoration in December 2025. And the president of the JPS just announced that both St. Elizabeth and Westmoreland are over 60%. I want to assure him that Darliston has now gotten not how we want to get it, but at least get it ahead of time rather than waiting for the power to come all the way from down on the flat all the way in the hill. And to tell him, in case nobody tells him, but I think I see the mayor whisper to him a while ago, that Bethel Town getting a generation plant that's going to be commissioned by the end of next week. Nothing a go on. So, let me just say to the Darliston community and to all my political colleagues here, and everywhere else, when it comes to my job as minister, I don't have any color. I don't have any color, because people are people, especially in times of suffering. So you can rest assured, for those of you who believe that because me and him always have a little spot here and there, that's separate. What we are doing here is showing how mature politicians and mature governments must act. We must act. Mature governments must act. We must act, not taking into consideration color, creed. These are emergency times, and the people of the Western parishes are looking to the government, looking to their political representatives to give them all the help that they can give. And I want to say again to JPS, especially to you, Grant, and his management team, that they have taken my advice. I said, don't leave out the mayors, don't leave out the members of parliament, don't leave out the councillors, don't leave out the chamber of commerce, don't leave out the parish development committee, because those are the people that can guide you best in relation to where to put your efforts to get the best results for the people. And it is working. Again, congratulations to you and the JPS team. So I close by saying to you, 96% by next week still does not do the job, because there's 4%, which represent thousands of persons who still will not have light. So you know that when it comes to percentage and restoration, the restoration percentage don't matter to me. I want to know how many people still don't have light, where they don't have light, and when are they going to get light. And until we reach 100% where there's nobody else without light, we have not completed the job. 96%, 96 degrees in the shade is excellent, unmatched by any company or any country, whether first, second, or third world. But let us not rest on our laurels because we believe that we have reached the promised land. We have not reached the promised land, and you and I are going to hold hands and work with Dayton, and work with my cousin Dwayne, and work with Ian, the St. Elizabeth MPs, the St. James MPs, everybody, to make sure that we complete this job. 3 months, 96%. Let us go and look for the last 4% by the end of February. And then we'll have everything to celebrate. And then nobody can talk again. Neither in Parliament or outside of Parliament. All I'm going to do is say, big up yourself, big up yourself, big up yourself. My commitment is to continue to work with the JPS on behalf of the people of Jamaica, and to say that the Andrew Holness administration will not stop until we recover better from Melissa and more resilient, so that we would have been able to learn from our mistakes, build back better, and of course, the next time, which we don't know when that is. Hurricane season starts in June. By the time you blink, in another hurricane season. What we want to make sure is that we're going into that one better prepared than this one. And by the time the 2 or 3 years it takes for us to recover fully, that we will be more resilient to face any other catastrophe that may come our way in the years to come. So again, I am so happy to be here on a Sunday evening, just to be able to say to you, commitment made, commitment delivered. God bless you.
Thank you so much, Minister Vaz.
I just realized something, you know. Dayton was supposed to talk before me. And him time himself to come in after him, because I want the last word. So make me hear what I'm going to say now.
Okay then, Dr. Campbell, you're up. Please welcome Dr. Campbell to the lectern.
Them have a saying, you know, when two general buck up, God cry.
Mother Pastor of Ceremonies, Minister Vaz and Samuda, Mayor Delancey, and other members of community groups, Sir Grant and team from JPS, members of the community, members of the media. Good afternoon all. You know, I attended a function with the Prime Minister where he was launching the roof program a week ago, and I was roasted then, and I attended this function and I'm roasted again. But nonetheless, it's good to be here today, and I'm always happy for progress. And be not deceived, be not confused. When we come together as a community and we elect one from among us, we elect that person to make representation on our behalf. So my job, as difficult as it may be, is to make representation on behalf of the people that I represent. I have the pleasure of representing. And I will continue to do so without fear and without favor. I will advocate until every single household that is in Eastern Westmoreland can benefit from having electricity in their home and in their business place and wherever they occupy. I mean absolutely no harm by that. We all know how difficult it is to reside in a setting where you don't have the benefits of electricity. And the small business operators, last week a gentleman said to me he's raising some chickens and he wants to kill them, but he has nowhere to store them, and he wants a generator. So Minister, seeing that you're in such a good mood and we are mending the relationship, we would be grateful if we could benefit from a few generators of the smaller variety so that we can help some of the small business operators within the constituency to be able to get on with their livelihood. Cold storage. And as a medical practitioner, you do know that you have medicines as well that persons have to keep the cold chain going. Right, their insulin and those things that they have to keep refrigerated. And so it is important that they have that access as well. I am grateful for the creative solution that is in place here today so that some persons within this area can benefit. And I look forward to the generator in Betheltown being up and running as well. And I do know, Minister, I'm not being difficult, and I do know from what my eyes have seen that it will take some time for us to get the team to complete the restoration work. I just don't want us to be left behind in Eastern Westmoreland. And the fact that I have become so popular with my JLP colleagues says that I'm doing my job well. So thank you very much. God bless you. Good to see you, ladies and gentlemen. Have a good evening.
Thank you so much, Dr. Campbell. And I want you all, ladies and gentlemen, to give a round of applause to all of our speakers. Now, today represents something really, really special. Today, we celebrate partnership in parish development committees. We have the government, we have the agencies. We have our partner utility, the NWC here. Everything comes together because we are working together, because of the partnership. And speaking of partnership, I have an announcement to make on behalf of Mr. Chaibar. Mr. Chaibar has announced an event next week Sunday for the people of Westmoreland, and this is going to be at Icon Paradise. It's a free event that's being hosted, and it's being sponsored by the Icon Group and All Care Foundation. And here's what it will provide: dentists, doctors, psychologists, psychiatrists, opticians, justices of the peace, and you'll also have a mobile pharmacy, and all of this service is going to be provided for free. Now, this is the kind of collaboration and partnership that we're talking about. It is electricity, it is the re-energization of the community, but it is also coming together of everyone to make this happen for our nation. So as we wrap, I'd like to thank everyone for your contribution. I'd like to thank especially my colleagues at JPS who hardly ever sleep, our leadership teams who stay up all night just working out how best to serve this nation. And I also want to thank you, ladies and gentlemen, residents of Darliston, for hosting us, for accommodating us, and for your understanding as we go this last mile of restoration. Thank you all very much, and God bless you. Okay, so we are going to have a symbolic ribbon cutting, and we're inviting the ministers of government, we're inviting the member of parliament and the JPS leadership, Mr. Hugh Grant, to step over to my left over here. Thank you.
what transmission lines are, right? We've been talking about them since the start of the restoration. But if you don't know, let me remind you. Our transmission lines are the high voltage wires that take the bulk of the power from power plants to substations, where it's brought down to a voltage where it can provide power to your homes. Due to the passing of Hurricane Melissa, our transmission network was severely impacted. So today we're in Magati in St. Elizabeth, and we're going to show you just what it takes to rebuild the backbone of our grid.
All right, so the work that we're doing here is vital. We have to be precise, detailed, because we have 300 and odd poles on this transmission line going from Spurtree in Manchester all the way to Magati in St. Elizabeth. And if there's a single issue on one of these poles, the power will not get from Manchester to St. Elizabeth.
The structures pass through various types of terrain. Passes through the hillside from Spurtree down, then along the main road, and then into the swampy area through Santa Cruz, and then again over some hilly terrain towards Magati, and then through the cane fields near Magati substation.
And work on this line is going to be very important to get power into Magati, which will then be stepped down to distribution level, which allow customers that get feed from that substation, customers in Black River, Holland Bamboo, Luana, New Market, those main geographical areas to get power.
Along the entire stretch, we have structures that are down and that needs to be repaired. Some of these structures in some rough terrain that have difficulty accessing. For example, we have a structure down on Spurtree Hill that is really difficult to replace. We also have structures down within the swampy area in the Santa Cruz region that we had to get excavators to clean marl, to establish access, and to have those structures replaced and also straightened.
So while you see
Thank you. You may be seated. It's Christmas Eve 2025, and what better place to spend it than in Treasure Beach? Isn't it a beautiful